Holly, we're at Fifth Season Farms. This is our home and this is our farm. We've been here about almost 20 years, about 17 years. We've built the farm up from the ground up. We mostly just raised our own food, and now we're at the point that we want to share that food with other people. We're very big into food as nutrition. Food can make us thrive. So we raise our food as healthy as we can and as beneficial as we can. So that's just a little bit of our farm. What we do now, the latest thing that we've done is introduced raw milk herd shares. We got into raw milk because of the health benefits. So raw milk is so beneficial for your health. It increases gut health. It is actually a totally different milk than what's at the stores. The stores has milk that is filled with hormones and other things. When you pasteurize milk, you lose the benefits. You lose the enzymes that help you digest the milk. You also lose any of the probiotics that help with gut health. And it also denatures some of the proteins. So what happens with that is over time, it can actually cause sensitivities, allergies, and that's why a lot of people have issues with dairy. So you hear about people that say, oh, I can't drink milk anymore, but I can drink goat's milk. Well, goat's milk is A2A2, which is a protein in the milk. And just like I was talking about denaturing the proteins, the dairy cows that are in the commercial industry, they've actually been bred to produce tons of milk, and because of that, the proteins mutated a little bit. It's a genetic mutation, so that makes it A2A1. That's what a lot of people have health issues with. So we have A2A2 jerseys. We chose jerseys because jerseys have the most butterfat content of any cow, and we wanted to not only drink our own milk, but we wanted to supply our own butter, make cheese, yogurt, all that good stuff. So we chose jerseys because they have good production. They also have good butterfat content, and they're a heritage breed. So it's really easy to find an A2A2 jersey. If you want to look for A2A2, you can just have them tested. It's a really simple test. You pull a hair out of the tail, you send it off, and it's as simple as that. A lot of people that are, if a farmer has one to sell, they will advertise it as A2A2. So it's really simple, easy way to do. So what we do now is we have herd shares. That means that in our state, it's illegal to sell raw milk in West Virginia, but it is legal to have a herd share. So basically, a person can buy a share into our herd. It's not a share of the cow, it's a share of the dairy herd itself. So the farmer still owns the cow, the farmer still has rights over the profits, and the farmer takes all the risks. The person just owns a share in the actual dairy herd. And then they get a gallon of milk for each herd share that they have weekly. So they're getting their own milk. We're not selling it to them. And then it's our job to take care of the animals, to make sure that we're doing everything on our end. And one of the things that we do is they pay a monthly fee for room and board. This means that we take care of the cow. We handle all the testing for mastitis and things like that. We feed the cow. We do all those things. And so you buy a one-time fee of whatever it is, your herd share bill of sale, and then that is a one-time thing. If the customer ever changes their mind and doesn't want to do this anymore, then they sell us their herd share back. So, and basically they get a refund. So then the monthly fee is what it costs for you to produce the milk. So that's going to be food, that's going to be supplies, things like that. That's going to be your time, because our time is valuable. So the customer doesn't have to get up at 5 in the morning. We do. So we are compensated for that. So the basic things you want in a herd share, any lawyer can write this up. There's lawyers out there that do this pretty routinely. Most of herd shares and bill of sales it's just routine language. You want to have what your responsibilities are stated. You're going to test, you're going to have yearly vet checks, you're going to, supply with the bottles, things like that. And then you also have their responsibility stated. Like for ours, some of our specifics are they have to wash their jars because we do glass instead of plastic because it's better for the environment. And it's actually more cost efficient. You have to buy a plastic jug each time. The glass jars we can just reuse, so it's a lot more cost efficient for the herd share member. Other language you may want in there is that they have to pick up their milk on certain days. They have up to 1 or 2 days to pick up their milk, because raw milk actually, it has a shelf life, a decent one. It'll last, like our milk actually lasts for up to 2 weeks. Some people it may be a little less than that, but 2 weeks is a really good goal of how long you want your milk to stay fresh. And so if they don't pick up their milk for 5 days, well, that's not a product you want them to take home. So they need to pick up their milk in a timely fashion, adhere to their schedule, things like that. So that's their responsibilities. And you can, like I said, have any lawyer draw those papers up, or you can even, we actually are part of the Farm to Consumer Legal Defense Fund. And part of that membership, we have the Homesteader membership. So part of that is we have access to their lawyers for certain things, and this was one of them. So they drew this up. It was really nice. Or you could even just go online, see what other farmers do, what is the language that they use for their herd share. And you can just, you know, kind of make one up yourself and then just have a lawyer like overlook it. But you just want to make sure you're doing everything legal. You can go to the West Virginia Department of Ag and on their website and see what all the criteria is for what you have to do. So basically that criteria is you have to have yearly vet checks. So the vet's going to come out to your farm once a year. They're going to check all your cows, even if you have beef cattle. If your dairy cow runs with your beef cattle, everybody's got to get tested. They test for Jones and brucellosis, I think is what it is. So they test for those two things, and also tuberculosis, which isn't really a problem in the state, but it's just something to make sure everybody is safe. The other thing that you have to do is every time you have a new member to the herd share, you have to sign the agreement forms and the bill of sale, and then you send that off to the Department of Ag as well, so they have that on file. The other things that you have to do is, well, I think that's basically everything that the state requires. There may be some other things, like you do have to test for mastitis, but we test more often than is required, just for our own peace of mind, and we want to make sure that our members have the cleanest milk that they can. So there's a couple ways you can do mastitis testing. This is actually one of the things that we do. You can do weekly testing with the California mastitis test. You can get these online. You can get these from Homesteader Supply. You can get them from Amazon. And you can get them many places. But this basically is not it's kind of like a pregnancy test. You can take these stick tests that you get out of the store, and it's going to be a positive or negative. Or you could get the, you know, like your blood drawn or whatever you send off to the lab, and it's going to give you actual numbers. So it's kind of like that for bacteria counts. So basically you take each teat and you put a sample of milk in here, make sure this is clean, or it's going, whatever bacteria is in there, it's going to red flag it. You put the solution in, you stir it around a little bit, and if it's positive, it'll look like mucus. When bacteria has a high count to where it's an infection is set in, they create like snot looking like substance. So that's a good, you know, for anything dairy. If you have like yogurt in the back of your fridge or whatever, if it looks mucusy, that's a telltale sign that bad bacteria is taken over. So we do this weekly, or more often as needed if we, you know, something looks suspicious. So this is one thing that we do weekly, and then monthly or every other month or 3 months, just depending on what's going on with your cow, we will actually take a sample and send it off to the lab. We will get a sterile container. That's the most important thing, is a sterile container. Put a sample from the milk. You can take it, if you have one cow, you can take it straight from your milker, or even from the bottle. If you want a representation of your herd, then you take it like out of your milk tank, or from the bottle if it's all mixed in. And that will give you, they'll test for different bacteria that is common for mastitis, and it will give you numbers. The other form of testing that you can do is called a SCC, somatic cell count. And what that does is it tests for infection. So somatic cell count is the cow's inflammatory cells. So if something is going on with the cow, doesn't matter if it's bacteria or parasitic, or something's going on with her digestive tract that day or something, the SCC numbers will go up. So that's really good. That's what a lot of dairy farmers go by, is their SCC numbers, because that gives you an indication that something's going on with your cow. It may be bacteria, it may not. Like I said, it could be parasites, it could be anything that would cause her to have a little inflammation going on, which causes her immune system to kick in and respond. So you can do that. A lot of people do a monthly. Like I said, if our cow goes, if your cow goes more than 3 months without having any issues, then some people will go down to 3 months. If every other month is better, you just do what works for you. But that is how we do our testing. Okay, so speaking of mastitis, some of the things you can do for prevention. Prevention is the basic key. Like, everything needs to be clean, clean, clean. Keep your cow as healthy as you can, and your milk as cold as you can, as soon as you can. Those are the 3 basic steps. For mastitis issues, you can, of course, the conventional method is antibiotics. You could even, like I said, have your vet test your milk as well, and your vet would also have antibiotics if you want to go that route. There's a lot of things you can do before that. We use products from Synergy, Synergy animal products, and it's basically different tonics with essential oils and things like that that helps take control and get the cow's immune system going so she can fight herself, and also it goes straight into the teat, into the quarters of the udder, and so it hits it straight where it is. So these are some of the things that we use, and they have directions for how to do that, and you can look at synergyanimalproducts.com. Okay, so the first thing you need for raw milk and raw milk herd shares is you have to have a cow, and she has to have a calf. So you need to decide how you're going to shelter her, how you're going to feed her, and then what she needs. A lot of people have beef cows, but beef cows are a lot different than dairy cows. Dairy cows are a lot more, in some ways, delicate. They need more attention, more care. So the things you need to decide is, where can she be, where can she get her food, and what you are going to do with the calf. So if you're just homesteading, what a lot of people do is they just calf share. So basically you would put the calf up at night, and then the next morning you get the milk, and then the calf is on the mom throughout the day, and then you put them back up at night. So the calf gets it part of the time and you get it part of the time. Because we do herd shares, we don't really do that for a few reasons. Calves are like little kids. They got a lot of germs. So that's one of the reasons we want our milk to be as clean as possible. And also the calf is going to take a lot of milk. So that's why a lot of people will sell the calf initially to someone else, and they will bottle feed it and raise it. Or if you want to increase your dairy herd and keep the calf, then you just figure out what you're going to do. So we keep ours separated, and that allows us to bottle feed from the milk that we get from our cow, and then we can use the rest for that. So to milk a cow, she needs to be clean. I've seen people like totally hose their cow off. We don't necessarily do that, because the cow is made to where things will drip down in the shape of the udder, down the teat. So we just make sure that the udders are really clean. Our cows stay pretty clean anyway because they're on pasture all the time. So we just, we use Dr. Bonner's soap. There's other things out there, and water, a couple rags. We wash her with soap and water. That gets her clean. Then we dry her, and once she's good and dry, then we'll use teat dip, and this is what sanitizes. There's a difference between clean and sanitized. So the teat dip is made from iodine. It's a special solution for dairy, and this sanitizes her udders, and then we can put the equipment on. So there's a couple different things with equipment. If you just have one cow, one of these little milk machines does great. This has 2 claws, so that means we have to do the front and then the back. That takes a little bit more time, but it holds up to 3 gallons, so this is perfect for 1 cow. If you have more than 1 cow, then you want a bigger machine. This one has the 4-claw, and so it does all at once. The milk goes straight in here. It has a filter built in, so those are really nice too. If you want to hand milk, you can definitely do that. I would suggest though that just like the milking machines, your hand milk bucket be made of stainless steel that's seamless, because you don't want things to get, if it has a rim, you don't want things to get up in here like bacteria and things, so they're just harder to keep clean. But then you milk. Once you're done milking, once she's done, and that's the most important thing, is you strip her out, which means you get all that she has in there. That prevents mastitis. We, once again, will dip her udders again, her teats, in the iodine dip, and then we will put udder cream on her to help prevent chapping and just keep her clean. And then she's good for another 12 hours. If you calf share, you're gonna milk once a day. Some people just like to milk once a day, even if they take the calves away, just because of the time that it takes. And milking is going to take you anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour each time by the time you get her, clean her, do the milking, and then bottle everything. So we milk twice a day, because if you milk once a day, you lose about 30 to 40% of her milk production. So, but they're going to eat the same amount. So you're going to have to spend money in their food either way. So we milk twice a day. That way we have more milk to offer people, and also that way it's cost efficient for us. When you milk, you need to get the milk cold as quick as you can. Some people actually put cold packs inside the milkers. Like if you're hand milking, they'll do that, or they'll take a cooler out there with them and bottle the milk as soon as they can. I would recommend bottling the milk in a room, not in your barn that has dust and other things. I would take the milk elsewhere to bottle it, but it needs to get, ideal temperature is to get 38 degrees within 2 hours. So what some people do, they have a milk tank where it has a motor that cools it and it circulates it. It gets it cool really fast. Some people just use a freezer. So just whatever works for you, leave it in the freezer for a couple hours, then you take it out and you put it in your refrigerator. Then your milk is good to go. So one thing I forgot to mention is insurance. That is another part of the equipment that you may need. Insurance will protect you and your farm in case something happens, people get sick or whatever. So there's different companies that do that. You can just go online and look. You can ask other farmers what they do and who they use, but I would highly recommend insurance for your food product. Now, how much milk do you have, and then how many members can you take on? That's a big thing. So the first thing you need to do after she calves, give her a couple weeks to know where she's going to be. The first week is going to be colostrum. That's what the calf needs to grow its immune system. Then after that, she's going to produce milk. If you calf share, she's going to hold her milk back for her calf, so just keep that in mind. But if they're separated, then you'll end up being able to get all of her milk. Give her a couple weeks to figure out how much she does. And just for an example, I'll just put some numbers out there. So one milk cow, one of our milk cows, let's say she does, she has a max and she has a minimum amount. So what we do is kind of figure out the average that she does. So some days she'll give us 5 gallons, some days she may only give us 4.5 or even 4. So we know that she's always going to give us at least 4 gallons a day. So that's the number that we can start out with. Then I have to figure out how much my family needs. How much are we going to take? Do you have a calf that you're bottle feeding? How much is that calf going to take? So my family, usually 4 gallons does us a week, because we do not only drink it, but we make dairy products. Like we make our own cheese and yogurt and stuff like that. So figure out how much you need for your family, and then figure out your location. Are the customers going to be coming to you to pick up the milk, or will you be delivering it to them? If you deliver, then you just take, you know that you can have 4 gallons a day. So 4 gallons one day will go to this delivery site. Then the next day, 4 gallons will go to another delivery site. And what we do, instead of keeping a little bit every day, we just keep one day for ourselves. And then I'll do all my cheese and all my yogurt and stuff in one day. So that kind of helps me. So you can do it that way, or if they're coming to the farm to pick it up, then just put out a schedule. You have 4 gallons a day, And if you want 1 gallon for yourself every day, then 3. Then you just put people in 3 gallons. Have 3 members come every day. And that's pretty much, how we do our members to herd shares. Also, let your members know that this is a farm and these are animals, and there's going to be problems some days. So there may be a day that she doesn't give you anything. There's going to be a day she's going to kick the bucket over. And there's going to be a day that she may have, gotten into something and she's, has some blood in her milk, or you get a mastitis test positive or something like that. So just let your herd share members know that they are part of a herd share. And this is part of it, that there may be days that you won't have their milk. They really shouldn't be that many. We hardly ever have an issue. But if that does happen, we just let them know that we can't give you milk today, but we can give you milk this day. Or we may just have to, adjust their money for the week, give them whatever the value was of that milk. So that's how we do our herd shares.
Welcome to the West Virginia Department of Agriculture's Homesteading series. In this series, WVDA planning coordinators collaborate with producers around the state to share the most up-to-date information on food prep, raising livestock, self-sufficient living skills, and much more for homesteading in the Mountain State. Their goal is to help people of all skill levels increase their knowledge for sustainable living or expand their farm business. The business development staff work to grow West Virginia agribusinesses and economy. West Virginia has a vibrant ecosystem of communities, small farms, and innovative organizations that support the agricultural economy. Our team's goal is to reach out with tools and partnerships to make potential businesses aware of the services and support the West Virginia Department of Agriculture and its partners can provide. Additionally, the business development team oversees our West Virginia Grown and Veterans and Heroes to Agriculture programs. WVDA planning coordinators act as local liaisons, coordinators, and facilitators helping develop agriculture projects and assist agribusinesses around the state. They participate in economic and business development efforts while addressing food insecurities and building resiliency in local communities. West Virginia Grown is the state's premier branding program for agriculture products. The West Virginia Grown logo indicates to buyers the product was grown and/or processed with quality ingredients in the Mountain State, and that their dollars are going right back into their communities. We also offer marketing opportunities for West Virginia producers through our West Virginia Grown program. This program is free, and members gain access to the West Virginia Grown brand logo for labeling use on any eligible products. If you become a member, you'll be included in our producer database, our West Virginia Grown directory, market bulletin, and social media platforms. The business development team also includes the Veterans and Heroes to Agriculture program staff. Their priority is to provide support to veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, and first responders transitioning into agriculture via education, scholarships, mentorship opportunities, marketing, technical and business development support, and navigating available resources. The program seeks to further promote the development of agricultural industries, products, and marketing opportunities across the state.